Okay, this is going to be part 2. I apologize. The last video cut off on accident, so I didn't realize it until I was done taking all of the notes on this page. It cut off somewhere in me explaining step 3. So I'm going to re-explain step 3, and then we will move on. Okay, so in step 2, we created a brownie pan for each converted fraction. So we had 4/6 and 3/6. And then I was explaining to you that what this problem is really asking is how many times can this amount right here, not the whole thing, just the amount that's shaded in, how many times can that fit into this amount right here? And so in order to do that, in order to figure out how many times it can fit in there, I overlapped the pan. So what I did was I said step 3 was to look at how many times the second pan of brownies fits into the first pan. So I drew a pan of brownies again. I started by highlighting the pan with the larger amount, the amount that's going to get divided. And then I went through and I took my blue highlighter, and highlighted the amount that represents this much, the 3/6, and I overlapped over here on top. Now, what I did was how many times can these 3 right here fit into these 4 right here? And I noticed that it can fit in there one whole time, and then there's one of these 3 left, which would be 1/3. So when I combine these two together, it's 1 and 1/3. So 2/3 divided by 1/2, going back to that original math problem up here, 2/3 divided by 1/2 equals 1 and 1/3. Okay, just like I was telling you in some of your other on the first 2 parts, I gave you a practice problem down here at the bottom. If you want to pause the video right now and use your notes to practice this strategy down here at the bottom, you're more than welcome to pause it now, or you can go back and do all of your practice problems at the end. Okay, we have one more thing to talk about in our videos today, and I know that these videos are very long. This note-taking video is very long. It's the only thing you need to do today. And so I think you can handle it. Okay, so now I'm going to do dividing fractions part 4. So you should have a 4th page. This is the standard algorithm for dividing a fraction by a fraction. I should say standard algorithm fraction divided by a fraction. So I showed you the brownie pan method just previously. Now I'm going to just show you the standard algorithm. This is pretty easy. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing, 2/3, the same fraction. So 2/3 divided by 1/2. And I'm just going to do the steps. So step 1. You're going to keep the first fraction. And I'm going to underline that in purple. Keep the first fraction. And I'm going to write the first fraction in purple here, 2/3. Okay? Then, step 2. Change the operation, and I'm going to say division to multiplication. Okay, and I'm going to put that in a different color. Change from division to multiplication, so I'm going to make that multiplication. Okay? So I'm just changing the operation from division to multiplication. Step 3. Flip the second fraction. Okay? In this particular case, when I say flip the second fraction, what I'm saying is 1/2 becomes 2/1. Okay. And step 4, solve the multiplication problem. Okay, and I'm going to do that in dark blue, solve. And so now I'm going to solve. And when I multiply, I learned last week the standard for multiplication is just multiply straight across the top. 2 times 2 is 4. Oops, I got to do that in my blue. Is 4. And 3 times 1 is 3. And then, of course, that's an improper fraction, so I need to change it to 1 1/3. Okay, so 2/3 divided by 1/2 is 1 1/3, just like we discovered on the previous page. Okay, again, standard algorithm or shortcut, pretty easy. Keep the first fraction the same, change the operation from division to multiplication, flip the second fraction. It was 1/2. We're flipping it upside down. Now it's 2/1, and just solve the multiplication problem. And then I might even put a reduce. Okay, remember, if improper, you got to turn it into a mixed fraction. Okay, and your practice for this particular strategy, I want you to practice the same practice problem as the page before, and we're just going to do 4/5 divided by 2/3, and then see if you can get the same answer when you're doing the shortcut or the standard algorithm as you were doing the Brownie method on the previous page in part 3. Okay, that was a lot of information. Thank you so much for sticking with me. If any parts of this are confusing, please come and see me in my office hours. I'd be more than happy to walk you through the process. Your assignment tomorrow is going to be just some fractions, dividing with fractions. You're going to see some that are fraction divided by a fraction. You're going to see some problems that are a whole number divided by a fraction, and you're going to see some problems that are a fraction divided by a whole number. You're going to need these notes to do the problems, and then I'm also going to add some extra videos that discuss these same strategies just by a different person that might be a little bit easier for you to understand. I will post those on the extra links down on the second page of the placemat. Okay, enjoy, and we will chat later.